Okay, family 747 361 degrees. How y'all feeling tonight? Um, it's gonna be a new way I'm gonna be broadcasting. I'm just testing it out a little bit. At the same time, I'm gonna be sharing some great information about the codex. Hopefully, y'all can hear me loud and clear. All right, I don't have to raise my voice. I can just kind of be calm in the setting. All right, and make sure it's all right. Cool. 1, 2, mic check. Mic check. Peace to the family. All right, if you in here, state your name, put it in the comment section. If you are relevant, shout out to everybody watching in the YouTube. Shout out to everybody watching in the Facebook. Shout out to Yaya the Goddess. I see you. All right, peace to everybody in the YouTube. It is what it is. All right, so this is a new way of broadcasting. Hopefully, we can get this thing going. We can get a nice, a good vibe going. Excuse me. All right, I'm gonna explain a couple things about the Codex, what the Messiah Code is about. Excuse me. I'm explaining a couple lessons. I'm gonna share lessons about the Messiah Code, what it represents. All right. Hopefully, this can the message that excuse me that I share with y'all today can resonate with a couple people. All right, I'm gonna be reading from a couple of books that are authored by Solar Prime Lazarus Lamel 131. All right, I will be reading a couple books just so y'all can get a brief description of what the Codex is. All right, excuse me. All right, and I think it's looking pretty decent. It's looking pretty good. Share video wherever you at, wherever you located on the planet. Y'all hear that? I don't know if y'all can hear the rain. Um, yeah, I'm trying to set this up pretty decent. All right. So today's date in the Codex. Today's date in the Codex is 13. Is today's date in the Codex is 13/17/8 in the Codex. Excuse me. 13/17/8 in the Codex. So I'm going to be breaking down the numbers 13, 17, and 8 as well. All right. Yeah, today's date is 13, 17, 13, 17, 8. Yes. All right. So again, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of information about those numbers. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of information about the Messiah Code period. Let me see if I play this intro and kind of get everybody in the vibe a little bit while I set up the stream. Okay. Do this. Let me play this intro. Let me see if I can get the vibe. All right. Here we go. I love you for everybody that's with us. science. Peace to everybody that supports the movement. I love y'all.
Shua Hador Elakum Shua Hador Elakum Shua Hador Elakum
All right, cool. I guess it's working pretty decent. That's cool. So all right, wow. I'm kind of motivated. I'm motivated now. I'm motivated a little bit. All right. So I'm saying, yeah, I love y'all. Thank you for everybody that supports. All right. This more, I'm more or less testing out this live stream here. I really appreciate everybody. But we're gonna build on the science. I'm gonna build on science. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. Stick around for the crown. So the title of this is "What Are We Truly Learning?" What are we truly learning? All right. So if you don't know by now, I am 131 Solar Prime Supreme Minister Lazarus Lamel. All right. I represent the Messiah Code movement. We have various different degrees of various different degrees of learning, more or less. And you know, I would say I would say just to move forward and to bring everybody kind of up to date and just to explain everything in one video, just to get people familiar with this. I don't want you to think as I don't want you to think of the Messiah Code as a religion, right? I just want you to think of it as a form of spirituality, a way of life to transcend thought, more or less. I want you to also think about it as whatever you have learned through your studies, whatever spiritual school, spiritual practice, religious practice that you have went through in your life. It actually it's going to prepare you for what's to come and the lessons that are here for you in the Messiah Code. All right. So first things first, I would like to deal with is that we got a number system. Okay, we got a number system, and this number system deals with how everyone is born. Like for instance, if I ask you what is your birthday, you'll tell me your birthday flows between a 1 and 31 number. All right. These numbers 1 and 31 are very important to the Messiah Code. It would operate more or less as the beginning and the end, or the ending and the beginning. All right. I want you to think about it like that. 131. For instance, your birthday is, whatever it is. If I ask you, it's going to flow between 1 and 31 number. All right. That would be almost like 1 and 9 will be the beginning and the end as well. All right. One being the beginning, and nine being the ending of the last number. All right. So that's something I wanted to share with y'all as well. All right. So each number has a personality of sort, how it expresses itself in this day and time of what we call the mainframe consciousness. All right. Now you call reality whatever you want to call it. All right. But in the codex, we refer to reality as the mainframe consciousness. All right. Now, all right. Another thing is it's the day and time, the age that we're living in. All right. We are living in an age that is a procession of time, how we move throughout the galaxy in reference to the Milky Way. We have a 26,000 year period. All right. And this is connected with the zodiac as well. All right. Where we have 2,160 years for roughly each age. All right. So now we have come out of a certain age, which is called Pisces, and we have come into a new age, which is called Aquarius. All right. We have come into a new age called Aquarius. I don't know if broadcast is kind of choppy for y'all. Hopefully it's flowing decent. I don't know what it is, but I'm operating off the Wi-Fi, and we'll work on that. We'll work on that. Okay. But just hear me out. I'm gonna share the degrees of lessons of the codex. All right. Hear me out, y'all. Thank you. All right. So now that you know that we are in a new age, we are in a new age called information. It's another name for this age. We actually call this age Tanun. Tanun. Okay, Tanun would be considered the age of information. All right, this is the age. Now, this is relative to whatever you have studied dealing with ancient Egypt. It's also relative to the previous zodiacs, zodiac signs, or the procession of celestial bodies that we connect up with. Now, um, when it comes to the clusters of stars, I want to get this straight. I want all of us to get this straight real quick. All right. When it comes to the clusters of stars that are in the sky, we know that certain stars in the same solar system, the ones that reflect as um, what we consider to be zodiac, or the zodiac signs, or the possession of signs with zodiac, and we know that they're not in the solar system, same solar system. But what we know is this: that you know what we see as stars in is another version of a sun. All right, and these stars or these suns are not emitting light at all. It's actually emitting a form of thought. It's emitting a form of thought. So when these lights or these thoughts connect up, they actually create a formula of sort, right? And that is what's transferred to us through the processions of time when we are moving throughout the zodiac, all right? Which is a combination of various different lights. And another thing is, I don't want you to think of the stars as I don't want you to think of the star. I want you to think of the stars as satellites of sort. Imagine a satellite, receiving a signal. It receives a signal, but it projects a signal as well. All right. So I want you to think about a star receiving a signal, which is a thought, which is another light, and transferring that signal to us here on this planet. And we interpret that light as light, but the light is actually real thought. Okay? So now, with these different thoughts that are moving throughout our heavenly body, which is our mind is being influenced by another heavenly body, which is the celestial above us. All right? That's another heavenly body that influences the heavenly body of our mind. All right? You have various different numbers. Pardon me, y'all. You have various different numbers, right? That transfer reality. Okay, for instance, if I ask you when you was born, you'll tell me that number flows between a 131 number. Now, if you feel comfortable, you can put your birthday in the comment section. Now, if you put your birthday in the comment section, I would prefer that you don't put year in the comment section. And you might ask me, why do we not put the year, Lamel? Because we really don't know what year it is. Now, if you want to designate the year to the cycle of whatever procession of zodiac that we're moving through, then I can do that. All right. If you want to connect your birthday up with the procession, if you want to say, man, we was in Pisces this many years, and we in year such and such, and I was born in such and such year of that, or you can link it to a prophet like the prophet Muhammad Wasallam. If you can link it your way to the prophet, that's another way to connect to have a real designated birth year. Okay, and you might say, why is that? Because we do not accept the Gregorian calendar. We do not accept the Gregorian calendar as a source of our um of our time, of a source of our time for us dealing with the years, right? Now it's almost the same thing as we only know the cycle of things. All right. Thank you for everybody putting your birthdays in the comment section. I love y'all. Thank you. I see the family coming in. Please make sure y'all share the video as well. Shout out to my 1221s. I love you. You love me. Me as we. Of course. Shout out to everybody in the YouTube, everybody in the Facebook watching. This is a simulcast. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna break down these numbers real quick. Especially March 4th, which is 3-4. And you need your book. You would need your book. I'm gonna share that with y'all real quick. Let me see. And I'm gonna bring up the book. So we're gonna talk about the numbers. I'm gonna bring up the book so it'll be on the screen. January 24th. I see you in here. I'm gonna break down January 24th as well. We're gonna do that. All right. Allow me to pull up the book on the screen. This is Master Application 141. Right. Cool. Let's see it feel pop. All right. There it is. There we go. We in here. All right, we in here. Cool. Y'all can see the book. If y'all can see the book clearly, let me know if y'all can see it clearly. Just give me a thumbs up or say yes, we can see the book clearly. All right, so we can have a little discussion about this book. If you don't have this book, you actually can just email the Messiah Code Movement, and we will set you up with a way you send a sponsorship, and you can get the hard copy of the book, or you can get the PDF version of the book. All right. So it's certain things that I break down in this book, which is very important to understand or solar stand, more or less. All right, and I want y'all to get it. All right, it's the best way you can. All right, so For instance, I put something on the screen for y'all, right? When I started this broadcast, and then I'm gonna start on the birthdays. I'm gonna break it down. All right. Today's date is 13/17 8 in the codex. All right. So how you would break it down is this. All right. For instance, let's say if I deal with the Gregorian calendar, right? A lot of y'all, when y'all do numbers, y'all like to add all the numbers up and say, man, it's all equal to this, and that's what the personality of the day is. In actuality, every number from 1 through 31 has a specific personality within itself. All right. For instance, a 10 is not a 1. A 13 is not a 4. All right. They have different personalities. Okay. So that's something that I wanted to express with to you as well. All right. So let's say if we deal with the Gregorian calendar, right? And today is what? Um 8/8. What is it? July 8th, 7/8, right? 7/8. So if we do 7/8, we would go into the seventh letter of the alphabet, which is God. All right. And God is the experience with the force. Let me read this verbatim so everybody have it. Um God is actually, and people can have their various different opinions of what how they feel and express God is. But God, if you look at the codex, if you look inside the codex, God is the relationship with the experience self-proclaimed as responsible for creation. Now you can give me the origin of where the God word where God comes from, which is a German word, or also which is a Hebrew word, which is Gad, which means truth. All right, which is the seventh tribe of Israel, which is called Gad, which is so coincidental that God or G is the seventh letter of the alphabet. All right, you would link it up like that. All right, and then you will also say, well, what's the seventh attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And this is what you learning in the codex if you have your books. All right, you'll say, well, what's the seventh attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The seventh attribute of Allah is, or what we call the actions of the universe, because Allah really doesn't have names. Allah really has actions. All right. So it would be Muhammad. Muhammad would be the guardian. Guardian. Think about this. So the seventh attribute of Allah or of the universe, the seventh action of the universe would be Muhammad, and Muhammad would be the guardian. And then you would think about God. When I'm on my God, I'm actually on my guard. I'm on my guard. I'm on my God. Same phonetic word. I'm on my guard. So you have protection. All right. So this is something how you would interpret the codex or how you would align the thought. Now, you might say, well, how does this transfer into reality, Lamel? Because you see numbers every day. You see um you see things that happen every day, and you see numbers um that happen in your reality, and you wonder what these numbers mean and how to connect the thought. All right. So yeah, we're going to build on the God concept, and we're going to build on the guardian concept as well. I give people a degree of psychic self-defense. People, I do psychic readings. Yes, I do more or less psychic self-defense as well. All right, because you got to know these words, as you know these numbers, you know these words, and you can interpret or anchor your thoughts in this manifested reality. Now, the it's like this. I'm gonna tell you, throughout um time in general, all right, you have various different ways on how people express this information. They express their experience. That's how you got various different religions. or various different spiritualities, just like you have various different colors of a rainbow, you know. But if you look at all the colors, no matter how many vivid colors you see and various different shades of those colors, guess what? All colors are created from three primary colors. All right. Now you might say black and white, they're not really colors. All right. They're states of existence, they're modes of existence. All right. If you think about blue, red, and yellow, every color is made from those colors, the three primary colors. So that's something I want you to understand as well. All right. So now, interpreting the number eight. The number eight would be heaven or hell. All right, it would be connected to the letter H. Now, I know a lot of us are going through a lot of hell right now. You say, for real, Lamel? Yes, a lot of us are going through a lot of hell. But I'm gonna tell you, in order to get to the heaven that you seek, you're gonna have to go to a lot of hell. In order to get a little bit of heaven, just a little bit of heaven, you're going to have to go through a lot of hell. Trust me on that. So it's work to be done. All right. So, but if you read, and I'm going to bring this up on the screen, I got y'all for everybody. Excuse me. I'm going to bring this up on the screen. If you read in your book, right, which is the 141 or any other book, you know, you should have the mathematics in there, all right, which is the grandmother and grandfather in mathematics, all right. And hold on 1 second, I got y'all. I want to bring this up on the screen. Heaven and hell. We say, really? Yeah, we're gonna bring up the meaning of heaven and hell. Now, if I say heaven or hell, this is what I mean. Period. Like, I would refer to the codex on what I mean, rather than going to a definitionary or what you call a dictionary, right? My fault. Excuse me. Alrighty, alrighty. I'm putting it up on the screen for y'all one time. All right, so we got heaven or hell, right? All right. So heaven would be the mind. All right. If I ever say heaven, whatever, I'm referring to the mind. Let's get this straight. We ain't gonna get no spookism. We gonna keep it real basic with the approach on what I'm sharing with y'all. Okay. If I say heaven, first of all, I'm referring to the mind. All right. Let's go. Now, the euphoric pleasure, the euphoric pleasure of existence with no disparity. This is what I'm referring to as heaven. All right. No stress, no pain, etc. You can explain it however you want to connect up with it, but you know what I mean. With happiness as its core element, as its core element, this is heaven. It stimulates the reality of a place everyone hoped it to be. Heaven is, first of all, in your mind. It's a state of your mind. It's a state on how your mind is balances itself. It's a state on how your mind more or less exists. All right. But it's a euphoric pleasure of existence with no disparity. This is heaven. And this is the place that we are working. We are working to obtain here on this planet. We're working on to, bring this heaven here on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's what we're working to do, to bring this kingdom of heaven here on this earth. So that's why we do what we do. But it's going to be a time where we have no disparity, no stress, no pain, where you just let things go. Real talk. That's why I tell people, I say, man, you swimming through a pool of reality. Literally, you're swimming through a pool of reality. And a lot of y'all, yeah, y'all swimming, but you don't gotta swim at all. Only thing you gotta do is float and let go. Just let go and just let the ocean take you and just move with it. All right. And you're going to get to where you need to be. So that's no disparity, no stress, no pain. A lot of y'all, when y'all making prayer, y'all asking for too much stuff. Why are you asking for things from the universe? Only thing you should be doing, if you want to make something come into existence, you create a beacon, you create a wave of sort to make the universe feel you, to know what you want, because the universe doesn't know what you want, essentially. All right. So because you don't know what you want, all right, but the universe knows what you need. All right. So now we got heaven and hell, which is the letter H, which is the eighth day. We're this is the eighth day, right? We're on the eighth day of Jews lying, but we just turned to the ninth day. All right. We just switched over to the nine. But I'm gonna continue to build on the number eight, all right, which is heaven or hell. All right. So now you got heaven, heaven and hell. Now, what is hell? Hell is what? The body. The body. Wow. If we said heaven is the mind, hell is the body. Okay? The inevitable challenge of opposition, which the body has to endure. The inevitable challenge of opposition. All right? The torture and agony of failure. Okay? Now, that is a form of hell. That's the hell you go through, the failure, the defeat that you go through. But you have to get yourself up and move through, because I'm going to tell you something. Purification can come in many forms. And one of the forms of purification is fire. One of the ways that you purify something is through fire, and inevitably that is the hell fire that you face that purifies you. Understand that. You say, for real, Lamel? Yes. A lot of y'all don't understand that we're living in hell right now, and it burns you. Desire sometimes burns you like a hellfire. The craving to do something, the desire to do things burns you. To control oneself burns you. To fail at times, and not understanding you have to pick yourself up burns you. To not have a successful relationship time and time again, it burns you. To look at your children and say, yo, man, I want this for my children, and you don't have it, it burns you. That's a form of hellfire. All right. But in a way, it's going to purify you, and it's going to bring you to where you need to be, which is heaven. All right. Up into your mind, connecting with your mind. So you might say, what are we learning? Yeah, hopefully you're learning something. You're learning something, because what I share with y'all, with everyone here, is the codex. All right. So now, like I said, we put a date on the screen. Now, today we moved on. Today is not. We don't move on to the next day until the sun rises, until we see the light. I'm just telling y'all that. Our days, if you deal with the codex, I know in the Gregorian calendar they got a such thing called midnight. It's not really midnight. You tell me if that's really midnight. No, it's not. Like, come on, man. So 12 o'clock is not midnight. So, like I said, we don't deal with the days switching in the codex. We don't deal with the days switching. We at midnight. We deal with the days switching when the sun rises. All right. That's when we come into the new day. Okay. So today's date so happens to be 13/17/8 in the codex. So we got 14 months in our calendar. Each month has 28 days. Understand that. Okay. So if we got 28 days in each month, today is 13, which is the 13th month, and today is the 17th what? Moon. it would be the 17th moon. Y'all would call it a day, like for real, a day. But was not darkness before light? Question. Was not darkness before light? So if darkness came before light, what we do is we connect up with the lunar cycles first, all right, which would be 28 days. All right, that would be 13, 17. Let me put that on the screen so y'all have it. All right, 13, 17, um 13, 17, 8 in the codex. All right, y'all see that? 13, 17, 8. So today would be the 17th moon. It would be the 17th moon. Now, you might say, well, why don't the moon numbers and the sun numbers line up? Eventually, they would line up, but they work in different cycles. That's the only thing I can tell you. They work in different cycles. Eventually, the numbers will line up. All these numbers will probably line up eventually if we live that day. Um, Lord willing, we'll live that day. But if you look, you'll see in the codex today is 13, 17, 8 in the codex. So now moving on to, we know it's the 13th month. We're going to go on to the 17th, and then we'll go on to the 8th. All right. And let me explain this. So when I deal with the 13, I'm going to deal with a square. When I deal with the middle number, which is the 17, I'm gonna deal with a triangle. And when I deal with the last number, which is the 8, I'm gonna deal with the circle. Now, the world number will be considered the circle. Like for instance, if I say, "What's today's date?" Y'all would be like, "Today's the 8th." Y'all say today's the 8th. All right. So I want y'all to think about it like that. The last number in the date, it coincides with whatever world number everybody is on, basically. All right. So it flows from 1 through 31. All right. Now the middle number flows from 1 through 28. Now you might say, well, where do you get this from, Lamel? This actually comes from the back of the turtle. If and that is another anchor for what our tribe represents, is the turtle. If you look at the back of the turtle, you actually see a calendar. All right. If you actually look at the back of the turtle, you see a calendar. You see 13 uh engravings, 13 parts, all right, of the turtle's back. Now, these 13 parts actually represent the 13 moons of what we call a year. And then you got 28 markings on the outer edges of the turtle's back, which represent the 28 days. Now, we know that the cycle of a moon can vary from 28 to 29.5 days. All right. Now, this is also relative to what we share with y'all in the codex. I ask y'all this: what is our sun? Tell me our sun. If somebody put that in the comment section, I'll put it up there. What is our sun and what is our moon when it comes to our tribe? All right. Our sun and our moon are not what you think our sun and moon are. You would think our sun that wakes us up every morning with light would be considered our sun, or literally our center. It is not our center. All right. We actually exist inside the sun. We exist inside the heliosphere of the sun. But our sun actually so happens to be Jupiter. All right. I didn't know if you knew that or not. All right. Also, you might say, well, what is our moon, Lamel? Our moon so happens to be Saturn. All right. Hopefully you got that one. All right. Our moon is Saturn. You might say, well, why would our moon be Saturn? All right. For anybody that is a part of the zodiac, you would know that a Cancer would be connected to what planet, what planetary body. A Cancer, which we call the turtle. We don't call the Cancer a crab.
Here.
Thank you, JoJo. He brought the turtle out to me. He must know what I'm talking about. Thanks, JoJo. He brought the my son brought the turtle out so I can show it to y'all real quick. You know, hopefully this will work out. But I'll show y'all the turtle. If y'all can see that, everybody should have some form of turtle. I'm not telling you to go kill a turtle. This turtle actually came to me in some form of fashion, like this. All right, but we should have some form of turtle. It's a spirit animal. All right, this the turtle actually is an ambassador between this world and the next. All right, the turtle is actually an ambassador between this world and the next. That's something I want y'all to understand. All right, but yeah, for anybody that knows the zodiac, you would know that Cancer connects up with the planetary body of the moon. All right, and then the opposite of Cancer would be what? Capricorn. All right, or the Griffin. Now, um, Capricorn, what planetary body links up with Capricorn? If you know, put it in the comment section. All right, the planetary body that links up with Capricorn so happens to be Saturn. All right, so you shouldn't have a problem with me saying that Saturn is our moon as a planetary body rather than saying that the satellite that goes around the planet is not our moon. All right. Hopefully y'all can hear me clear. I don't know if y'all can hear me clear. Yo, hopefully y'all can y'all don't have no problem with the fact that Saturn is our moon rather than what you consider this planetary body going around us is our moon. All right, let me see what you put. Thank you. I appreciate it. Much love. All right. Thank you for everybody supporting in the movement. I see y'all putting birthdays in the comment section. I'm definitely going to share some thoughts on y'all birthdays, and I'm giving some relative thought on these things so people can connect up. Thank you for everybody putting things for loading up the comment section. I got y'all. I got y'all. All right. So you know, now I brought y'all to something when I was talking about heaven and hell, and this is so deep. You know, when I was talking about heaven, and then I start breaking down hell. I want you to think about things as a reflection, like of sort. Like reality is reflective. Whatever is in this world is actually in the spiritual world of sort. Now, let's say pretend it's like the dream world. Let's say the dream world could be your spiritual world. All right, which it is the spiritual world. It is the real world. All right. Now, things in your dreams aren't the same meaning as the things that are in your physical world. They have a certain meaning to them. Like for instance, like in your dream, when you're walking in your dream, your walk you walking in your dream represents your goals, like how you're moving towards your goals. Okay, now you can be running in your dream. This is the pace that you moving towards your goals. How you're, you know what I'm saying? So it actually has what is considered a spiritual application to it, which is connected to your mind. I want you to think about it like that. relatively speaking. All right. So, like, when we came into this existence, what we call the mainframe consciousness, we had to anchor thought in some sort of way. You know, one of the ways that we anchored thought was the articulation of speech. That was a way to express thought in more than so many ways. You know what I mean? And another way um, to express thought is the form of how we exist. We stand upright. And then we got thumbs. We're Australopithecus. I mean, how many creatures that are on the planet that have thumbs? It's not that many. All right. So this gives us the ability with our hands to create as well. For real, because your hands are actually connected to synaptic nerves. It's various different exercises that you can do, like this one that I'm doing right here. If you do this, this is a form of a exercise to open brain cells, to open up pathways in your mind. All right. When you actually do this, all right, synaptic nerves, pathways in your brain. The hands are connected to that. It's a way that we mold or create reality. All right. So we're blessed with many things as creatures just to understand what reality is. And one of the things that, like I said, we do is we anchor reality, we anchor thought in some form of fashion. All right. So in this new age of what we call information, you know, what is shared with the people is the degrees of the Walu. All right. The Walu is our tribe. The Walu is another name for divine manifest. This is a way I can explain it is divine manifestation. All right. That's what the Walu would represent, but the expression of it would be um, it would be infinite of what I would say, you know, because divine manifestation comes in many forms. All right. For instance, when we say, and this is what I'm sharing with y'all, you said, what are we learning? Hopefully, y'all learning something. What are we truly learning? We're tribal people. In order to be tribal people, you need to have certain things in perspective that represents you as a tribe. All right. So rather than argue about history, who did this, who did that, who whatever did this, like I really or us as a tribe in the family, we really don't have time to argue about religious concepts or with that deal with dates and times or guide his or so. We don't have time to argue these things. The only thing we have time to do is extract the nectar from these spiritual or these religious precepts or practices, and and you know and utilize them for our own discernment in this day and time. That's what I wanted to share with y'all. All right. So I don't have no beef with anyone, whether you're a Hebrew, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a cometologist, no matter where you stand at, long truth, justice, and equality is what you operate on. Is well, we are cool. All right. So now, like I was saying, the Walu, divine manifestation, it comes in many forms. Like, how can I express that? Like, for instance, if I say, um, I'm in this book right here, which is Master Key Application 311. All right, like if I say, Ya Hatar, which is Ya Tawalu. You might ever heard me say that. Ya Hatar, Ya Tawalu. Hatar is the dwelling place of the Messiah. That's just like saying that. This is like me giving reference to that. That's a divine manifestation, which is the dwelling place of the Messiah. I just made the wind blow. Or you want to say, you didn't make the wind blow, Lamel? Yes, I did. All right. The wind is the spirit. The wind is Shu. All right. You're gonna say for real? Yeah. You go in your book, right? You'll see it. It says right here, Yahshu, yeah, breath of life. You go to page 60 of your Master Key application 311. You'll see it says Yahshu, Yatawalu, which is Yah, breath of life. All right. This is something that we share, the breath of life between one another. All right. Which is conversation. That's the breath of life. All right. Real talk, because you can heal people with words. You can actually learn. You can actually become something greater through words. So you misunderstand. Some people are miseducated of what the breath of life is. Some people think the breath of life is like, yeah, I breathed into you the breath of life and you became a living soul, and that's in the Bible. All right, and that's true because yes, we were breathed into us the breath of life from our mother, which our mother gave us that. All right, but listen, and we became a living soul. But it was another breath of life that was given to us. It was the breath of life, which is when we speak to one another and we speak of life and we speak of existence and we speak of peace and we speak of that which brings life into existence. All right, that is the breath of life. All right. Another thing, yeah, Gab, yeah, Tawalu. Gab is time. Gab is reference to time, control of time. A lot of y'all are pacing and thinking about time so much, like, man, I don't have time to do this, or time is controlling me, or whatever, whatever, whatever. With time, time is tiempo. Remember that time is tempo. Okay, that's those words are synonymous. Time and tiempo, tempo, they're synonymous words. All right. But itself, time itself is Geb. And when you chant Yad, Geb, Yad, Tawalu, when you actually chant those words, you actually control time. You don't worry about time. You're not stressing about time. You move with time, and time will move with you. All right. Um, Yasu took. Yasu took one who shines. All right. Now, a lot of times people take Set or Sutuk as like somebody who is bad. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, man, I break this stuff down. Like they take the story of a sorrow and Set, and then Sutuk is Set. Okay. Now it is a various it's various different stories of the contentions of Set in a sorrow. All right, but I'm gonna give y'all a story, an allegory, and I want y'all to take this with y'all. All right, a sorrow and a Set, and I'm my fault. A sorrow and Sutuk are actually one and the same. If you think about the green vegetation, right, or green, if you look at the leaves in the autumn, what do they turn to? They turn to orange. They turn to orange, which is the color of Set. Set's color is orange for Set. All right, because it's the Set of the sun. All right, but it's one who shines, one who shines. All right, one who shines in the light of darkness. I want y'all to think about that as well. All right. They're also connected in the same sort because if you think about it, they're reflections of two hemispheres of the brain, which is Ilion and Sijin. Ilion and Sijin. I want you to think about Sutuk Asaru and Sutuk, which is Set, and Asaru in the same sense. All right. Which is, two hemispheres of your brain. All right. Then you got various different other things like Enkuet. Enkuet, yeah, Tawalu. All right. This is page 61 of your Master Key application 311. All right. So let's say I chant, yeah, Enkuet. Enkuet. Now, Enkuet represents the network. Let me share something with y'all today. All right. They might say, well, they might see me with a kufi on. They might see me with a jalabia on. They might see me with a yarmulke. They might see me with whatever fringes on. And they might see me with Native American totems on. And they might ask me, well, what religion are you? Let me read something for y'all in the codex. All right. And it's a part of the memorandum. Let me read y'all is part of the memorandum that everybody should know when it comes to breaking this stuff down. Let me read something for y'all. It's part of the memorandum. All right. Let's see if I get it. And I'm gonna, and this is relative to NCOET, which represents the network. Yatawalu, Ya NCOET, Yatawalu, which represents the network. Okay. Let me see this. All right. So this is the memorandum. I'm gonna read the memorandum real quick, and I'm gonna break this stuff down, and then we're gonna get, and this is relative. So it's all gonna come back full swing. All right, so flow with me. Just flow with me real quick. All right. So it says this. Look, Master Key Application 1 for 1. All right. This is the title. That's this book. But each book has the memorandum, which is the 131, 1 through 31. All right. And each I'm gonna say this. All the books are written in verse format as well. I need y'all to know. All right. Almost like how the scriptures are written in verse format. All right. So you can dissect each premise of thought. All right. So the Messiah Code is an archive of information that is and has been and will be moving throughout the mainframe for an eternity of what we call time and space. All right. Verse 2, the greater consciousness of thought, the hard drive of self-awareness. How can I explain the codex is? I don't think anybody can truly, totally explain it. But look, listen to this. It says, verse 3, it says, a combination of all matter and antimatter. In actuality, you can consider it a combination of all things. We call this the network, the tone of the universe. All right. Verse 4, the greater perception of reality, tapping into the frequency of the ever living to become a master student so you can become a master teacher. All right. So this is like real relative to what I share with y'all in the codex. All right. It says this means, verse 5, this means that you have to base your life upon learning. It is no day or no minute you are not in a realm of learning. Every aspect that you will learn throughout this program will be a point in a geometrical shape that you will create in a pathway of life coming back to the source. Now, understand this. When we talk about every aspect that you will learn, a parable is when geometrical shapes meet. It's geometrical lines when they meet. That's what a parable is. Go look it up. All right. But geometrical shapes actually represent when you travel throughout this planet, you actually create a geometrical shape. That's what this is talking about. All right. So it's a sort like that. You actually creating these geometrical shapes and you keeping track of them because it is sacred geometry. All right. And this is what I'm breaking it down from the dot, from the one, from the square to the what? To a three-dimensional image. You see that person, places, and things, past, present, and future. That's what this is all talking about. Dimensions that you travel in. All right. Now, if you don't got this book, you should have this book. Email the Messiah Code. The email is floating across the screen. I love y'all. Look, listen. All right. So it says when you move from point A to point B to point C back to point A, you really create a geometrical shape or what we call a dimensional reality, the sigil of destination, the progress of learned behavior. All right. So, a lot of people, they do natal charts. I got a super natal chart for you that's out of this world. Yo, you actually create a natal chart of sort when you travel throughout this world. and you'll start keeping track of the places that you go, and you'll see that you're creating a geometrical shape. When you go to the store, when you go to work, when you go to this place, when you go to this place, back home, you'll see the geometrical shape that possesses your reality. All right. So this is what it's talking about in the codex. It says show perseverance in what you do. Of course, hopefully y'all haven't gave up yet. All right, in what you do, and diligence in the things that you dream to be. Of course, the idea of this is to tap into your uniqueness. Your uniqueness. Yes, you are unique, and to know the special qualities that you possess as a Messiah type genealogy. As a Messiah type genealogy. Hopefully somebody's getting that you special. That's what this is. That's what we raise in the Messiah Code movement. We raise up the uniqueness, the unique quality in each and every one of us. Pardon me, the wind is kicking right now. Bless Shu. Thank you, Shu. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Real talk. So breaking this down, verse verse 9. Verse 9, it says, now the Messiah can be applied in many ways. Throughout the course of your journey, learning the Messiah code, you will learn the cycles of 1 through 31. That's what I was telling y'all. All right. This is symbolic of a clock of time. Yes, a clock of time. When was you born? Between a 1 and 31? Duh. I know. I know. A clock of time measuring the cycles between 1 and 31, alpha and omega, the alpha as the alpha and omega principle, the beginning and the end. And let me hip y'all to some news real quick, yo. You know, I told people, look, listen, coom on that one. Look this, coom on this one. Yo, the beginning of something is the ending of, and the ending of something is the beginning of something. Y'all know that, right? You know what I'm saying? The beginning of something is the ending of something, and the ending of something is the beginning of something. All right. So that's something I wanted to share with y'all. So if I say 1 through 31, that's a palindrome number. There's a palindrome number, literally. Just like my name, Lamel, is a palindrome name. All right. Or anybody that takes on that name of the Messiah, Lamel. All right. It's the palindrome name. It flows frontwards and backwards, backwards and frontwards. Lamel, 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 with the M standing in the middle. Oh, wow. Middle, the word M once again. And then if you see the M, the reason why the M for Messiah is so important, or M for Malak, Malak meaning king, Malak, mum's the word, because if you see a M comes from a hieroglyphic symbol of the owl, all right, the M. But more importantly, the M looks like a crown. When you put an M on your head, it looks like a crown, like you got a crown on your head, all right? Now, the crown also resembles horns. Now, those horns represent strength or represent the trumpet that is blown from the instrument of your mind, all right? So let's keep on building. Let's keep on building and sharing this thought. Look, it says, verse, verse, man, we on verse 10. These are the building blocks of Messiahship. Every block represents a degree in the temple that you are building. It represents the foundational keys to open up the doors of a monumental temple. Of a monumental temple. You hear that? Breaking that down. Verse 10. These are the blocks. These are the building blocks of Messiahship. The building blocks of Messiahship. Every block represents a degree in a temple that you are building. It represents a foundational, it represents the foundational keys to open the doors of a monumental temple, which you are. I want you to think about it like this. Every conversation that me and you have throughout our relationship dealing with this codex as more or less as a brick in our temple. that we're building. All right. And when the wind comes, when the storm blows, you will not be shaken, because every brick, every conversation we will make right. We will make sure that this brick is perfect. We will make sure that me and you, or you and the codex, or whatever you're learning with this Messiah code, that you don't have no confusion. So when you place that brick in, you place it in firmly and in a most perfect position. And thus, when you apply the mortar to the brick, you know, you will have a firm foundation. So when the wind, when the storm blows, when the trouble hits, you will not be shaken. Real talk. So these are the lessons of the Messiah code. This is what I share with y'all. This is what I share with everyone. All right. So verse 12, breaking down, verse 12, the mind, the body, the soul are all aspects of what? Are all aspects of what? The temple. The temple. All three are one. The body, look, the mind, body, and soul. And if you look at it for real, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Blood, spirit, and water, mind, body, and soul is almost like the colors of the flag. If you look at the flag, it's red, white, and blue. Red stands for the blood, white is the spirit, and then you got blue, which is the water. So the blood, spirit, and the water are one. So if you ever think about the American flag, they actually apply the colors of the American flag from the Bible or the Biblos. All right, real talk. Now you might say, well, what Bible? All right, now we consider to be the Bible, the Biblos, to be all the records, not just the King James Version. All right, that would be all the records. All right, but the blood, spirit, and water, that's where you get the red, black, red, white, and blue from. All right, but here it says that the mind, the body, and the soul are all aspects of the temple. All three are one. All right. And then I show you a diagram on there. I show you a diagram right there with someone being baptized, literally. All right. A this is a picture from papyrus. All right. You'll see the initiate being washed with water. All right. Now, now you got this. You say verse 14, where was I at? No, verse 13. Let's go. It says, verse 13, the threefold reality that you will tap into is the greatest tools that you will have of that you will be that of the Messiah code to decipher reality and rewrite the mainframe consciousness. Wow, you can rewrite the mainframe. That's like rewrite the mainframe consciousness. Learn the code, know the code, and be the codex. It's totally a difference between um, learning the code, knowing the code, and being the codex. I just wanted to say that and express that. It's going to be a time, it's going to come a time where, just like Neo and Matrix, where you want to see all these numbers, you want to see everything just transpiring in front of you. You want to see everything moving. And then it's going to come a time where you're able to literally program reality. It's going to come a time. And that's where it says, where the threefold reality that you will tap into and the greatest tools that you will have will be that of the Messiah code. All right? To decipher reality and rewrite the mainframe consciousness. I said this, we call reality the mainframe consciousness. That's literally what we call reality. Now, you can call it many other names, whatever language, a sort that you want to apply it to. All right. We also call it Tanun. All right. In this day and time, we call it Tanun. But you can call it many other things. All right. But the mainframe consciousness is something that I want y'all to understand or solar stand so y'all can apply the premise of thought of where I'm coming from, so you can follow the narrative. All right. You got verse 14. It says this: where do you want to take your mind? That is the greatest question I'm asking you now. Where do you want to take your mind? Where do you want to take it? All right. Then you got the initiate being pulled by Heru. All right. Now you say, for real? Yeah. The blind, it's literally a blind person. Now, the blind person is being led by God. God backwards is a dog. Now, in this instance, you know, they're being led by Heru. In some instances, they're being led by a dog, like a blind person is being led by a dog. All right. We're learning reality through the manifold of reality, but this light blinds us. Like the sun. Remember when I told you I was like, the sun is emitting thought, right? Remember I was sharing that with you. I was like, yo, the sun is emitting thought. But I want you to think about this, right? If I said that the sun is emitting thought, imagine trying to stare into the sun. It burns your freaking eyes out. It burns your freaking eyes. So I want you to think about it almost in that same sense. When you're when you are receiving this light, this information, it may sometimes overwhelm your mind. Like you need a fuse. Like you got to think about God's light. First of all, when you see the sun, that's just a miniature version of what God's light is. All right. Imagine God's light like this, right? When you look into the darkness, it's dark out right now. Everybody take a look outside right now. See how dark it is outside. All right. And what you see outside is not really darkness at all. It's really the greatest light of them all. You say, how is that, Lamel? I mean, the sun went down. Man, what? No, it's the greatest light of them all that you see right there. It just registers as darkness because, listen, like pretend if I came in a room and I bow and I turned on a light, boom, it would blind you. It would blind you. So God's light, or what we call this universal awe, this universal principle, is so vast. The light is so strong. It makes everything seems like a blackness. All right, it makes everything almost seems like blackness of sort, because to your spectrum of the way you see things, to your spectrum, not to many other things in their spectrum of how they perceive reality, but into your spectrum, you perceive it as darkness. You see, man, this is darkness, and not saying that that is the greatest light of them all shining somewhere, and it registers as darkness. So that's the same thing as all the thoughts of the universe. It will overwhelm your mind of sort, to the point that you are moving in in a realm of, like, you're in the darkness. So you need a guide, which is a god or a guardian. Remember when we talked about that in the first beginning of the discussion, when we said, well, what's seven? The seventh attribute of Allah is, or of the universe, is Muhaymin, which is the guardian. But it also transfers as God, which is the seventh letter of the alphabet, which is the experience, self-proclaimed as responsible for the creation of all existence. All right. Now, in a relationship with that of sort. So look, you're being guided right here by your guardian. All right. And now Haru has various different meanings, and one of the many meanings of Horus or Haru is mountainous one. Now I tell y'all that we ain't singing no Usher songs here. We're really not singing no Usher songs talking about moving mountains. The mountains are moving with us. All right. We are moving the mountains with us. We carry the mountains with us. All right. So, breaking that down, what you see is this, and that's what was shared with y'all. Where you want to take y'all mind? That's the greatest question I'm asking y'all. That's the greatest question I'm asking y'all right now. Peace. Thank you. That's the greatest question I'm asking y'all. Where do you want to take your mind? All right. So verse 15, and I'm just reading from this book. Just reading from the book. Now, from a historical perspective, people want to argue and people want to like, ooh, and like, ooh, man, all that. I really don't got time for none of that. I want to extract the nectar of what I need to move through this reality. That's the only thing I want. All right. We can save the years and the dates and the times and when everything, whatever happened or however, give me the principles that are needed to bring me and my family into a greater situation. And that's what I will take from each and every teacher or each and every person that shares an aspect of their religious concept. All right. Verse 17, verse 16. No, we're going verse 15. It says the mind is really the soul. Soul is the experience of expression, inward and outward, the creative force of will. They call this hua, hua, the creative force of will. Verse 16, and if one is able to take his or her quest to the next level, they will become what they truly are, the Messiah or the hero. I like the name Shiro. Infodigi said that name, Shiro. I like that. Say it, Shiro. You'll say hero. You'll think of a male, but hero can be female too. But if you want me to say a Shiro, I'm going to say a Shiro. So a Shiro. So we can have that. We can have that elevated real quick. All right. You can be the Shiro of your world. And with the power of great leadership, we will be able to save the planet. All right. Verse um 17. The codex is one of the greatest tools that you will be able to utilize in your life. It's just up to you to know that you are great. Truly are great. You are great. It is up to you to know the power that you truly have. All right. It's not up to me. I am a medium of sort, to share um, inspirational thoughts with y'all. But it is up to each and every one of us to make the decision to change our life, to make a decision to make our life greater, to make a decision to do something else with the rut that we're stuck in. It's up to you. Why would you want to argue that passage? All right. Now, verse 18, we'll go verse 18, and I'm breaking down Master Key application 141, but this is what we call the memorandum. All right. The memorandum is the 131, and would be the 131 would be something that I would suggest everybody start with, because you might want to know what the Messiah Code is about. You might want to know what I teach. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. I don't teach y'all nothing. You say, really? I learned a couple things here, Lamel. Cool. Hopefully you learned some things. But me personally, I don't teach you nothing. I'm not a teacher. I'm here to share things with you. All right? The only beings that own this information is you and I. We all own this information. Me is we. And that is the symbol of this, what I share with y'all. It's called the me we. All right? Me is we. We all own this information. I don't own it. You don't own it. We all own it. All right? That's something I wanted to share with y'all. But yeah, I share with y'all information. If you learn something, that's cool. But I'm still sharing with y'all information. All right? Now, let's go. Verse 19. Give me about 10 more minutes of y'all time too, and we're gonna end this. All right. It says this, verse 19. No. Verse 18. The Messiah Code. The Messiah Code is a motivational tool, but at the end of the day, it the end of the day, it is all about self, and that is where this journey is leading towards yourself, the inner self. All right. The great verse 19, the greater you and the greater destiny of what you are becoming and growing to be, the inner being. That's what this is truly about. All right. The one that is calling out is somebody that's calling out. It's something that's calling out. All right. To the outer world. The only way to escape the matrix is to be called. You must know your calling and your purpose in life. All right. Verse 21. We are more alike than what people know. And this is the template designed to formulate one's own stance on reality itself. You hear that? And so happens to be on the 21st verse, and the 21st verse or the 21st letter of the alphabet deals with unity. Universe, unity, university, unification, you and I. All right? Listen, but unity is the word. The 21st letter of the alphabet is you. But it says we are more alike than what you think. We are more alike than what people know. And this is the template designed to formulate one's own stance on reality itself. Verse 22. This is the Messiah code. Become a Messiah you already are. Become a great person. Become what you truly are. And never let anyone stop you from transforming the ideas of what you have inside yourself. This is the greatest thing that you will have, which is your creativity. Who would want to argue with that? All right. Verse 23, the Messiah code is not related to astrology or numerology. It is a mainframe consciousness compared to that which you would consider to be a computer. It is a calculated measure. I just want y'all to know that. All right. An electronic device. Now, I compared the mainframe consciousness, all right, almost to that, to like a computer, all right, like something that you can program, an electronic device for storing and processing data, typically in binary form, ones and zeros, numbers. Everything is numbers, binary forms, ones and zeros. And if you want to say alpha and omega, that's your first alpha and omega. You're 1 and 0. Then you got 1 and 9. And then you got 1 through 31. Those are your three alpha and omegas. There you go, right there. And it's you can say 1 through 99 could be an alpha and omega as well. All right. Check this out. It says verse 24. It says there is no hear this out. I want y'all to hear this out. All right. Um oh. I didn't finish the meaning of computer. Pardon me. Let me finish the meaning of computer. Look, boom. It says this. All right, in binary form. According to instructions given to it in a variable program. Now, I'm gonna say this. I call these books that I write, I call them programs because we live in the age of information. All right. But I essentially I'm not trying to program you. You got to assimilate the data. Like whatever is relative to you, right? You apply it to yourself. And that's how you assimilate it. Now, it's various different protocols. Now, a protocol is when um, we agree on something where two or more, um, I would say, beings or entities, they agree upon rules and regulations how to conduct or how things flow. That is called a protocol. All right. And that's what I'm sharing with y'all in the codex. This is a form of of a variable program, but it would be considered protocol throughout our movement. All right. Because this is something that we move upon. All right. As agreeable um force within or agreeable doctrine within our movement. All right, but it says there is no more Christianity. No, there's there's no more Christianity. You get this straight. There's no more Christianity. There's no more Islam. There's no more Judaism. There's no more astrology. There's no more numerology. There's no more Buddha. What do you want me to say? What do you want to invent? What do you want to invent? There's no more of that. Listen what it says right here. If you can read the words, it says this. It says, it is only the network. So if there's no more Christianity, no more Islam, no more Judaism, no more astrology, no more numerology, no more Buddhism, it is only the network. It's none of these things. It's only the network. How would you connect that? How would you understand what that is? Come on. Damn. Go somewhere. How would you connect that? If you would say, well, it's none of these things, it's only the network. Wow. You would connect all these dots and you would know how to measure your moment and you would know how to apply everything to what you live. All right. And that's why I said you got to extract the principles. It's all part of the network. You got to make your network, literally. You got to make your net work. Become fishers of men, women, and children and make your net work, literally. All right. Verse 25. And I only got a couple more verses. And we're going to go to 31. And that'll be it. All right. Verse 25. It says this. Look. Boom. It says, yo, it has a code, right? That is updated every first, every second, every minute, every hour, anything you consider to be time itself. But essentially, data is another word for DNA, data. But essentially, it's data, all right? You hear that? So you say data is DNA, 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 almost the same thing. Phonetically, yes, they're the same thing. Data and DNA are the same thing. All right. Verse 6, it says this. So when you look at the code, like I said, you got to apply it as heroic qualities about yourself. Simply. You got to apply it to yourself. Verse 27. Now I break down every number from 1 through 31, and they have a special quality and recognition to the reality that we are living. But you must understand truly, what you must truly understand is that your mind is the computer that is tapping into the greater computer, which is the source, the architect, construct your goals of happiness. So, I've just in this book, you know, it relates the mind to like a computer tapping into the greater computer, right? Like the network. We just said it's a network. It's like a computer tapping into the greater computer, right? But I want you to think about yourself and these thoughts in yourself as an architect of sort, where you are orchestrating plans. You are an architect tapping into the grand architect of the universe. All right? The grand architect of the universe, and you actually construct your plans in this manner, in the same way. All right? So this is telling you to construct your goals of happiness. Like you got to put, love in one place. You got to put health in one place. You got to put provision in one place. This is your archetype, right? All right, here, and this is your plan, your foreplan to happiness. All right, real talk. So you will not only prioritize. Hear me out, y'all. You will not only prioritize when you constructing your goals of happiness. You will actually compartmentalize as well. And that's why you have various different rooms here in this diagram when it deals with your happiness. All right. Verse 28, it says, if you want to call this God, well, the architect is the one who creates the plan for the building. And we are building right now. Hopefully, we are building right now, which is moving forward in the form of progress, which is a meaning in your book as well. When you look at the number, which is the number 8, which is build or destroy. It can also mean heaven or hell, but in the numbers, it's build or destroy. Build is to move forward in a form of progress. All right, so we're building right now. All right, so it says, um, verse 29, the Most High God, all right, is the architect for the plan. Oh, no, I said that. All right, it said the architect of the plan of the building, the temple of the spiritual body, the shell. All right, the temple of the spiritual body, the shell. Now, shell is she and L. Is she and L. That's what shell is. She and L. I want you to designate that as feminine and masculine. She and L. All right. Let's move forward. Verse 30. It says this. It says this. It has been called by many names. It has been called by many names throughout time. Like whatever you want to call it. Now remember, like I said, it's no more. Like we read this back when it said it's no more Christianity. It's no more Islam, no more Judaism, no more astrology, no more etc. We said it's no more none of these things, right? Boom, it's only the network. Okay, cool. Now, when you break it down, it says this in verse 30, it has been called by many names throughout time. So if it has been called Christianity, if it has been called Buddhism, if it has been called Hebrew Israelitism or whatever um, whatever doctrine that you apply your spirituality from, guess what? Now call it the Messiah Code, all right, or the Codex. The Codex, which basically deals with our history, not even our history. I would call it our story. Remember that. But I would rather say Codex because Codex would represent everything. It would represent everything of who we was, who we are as a people. Like if we would leave history, like a lot of y'all this is how this is the difference between now and what you would consider to be of old times of antiquity. If we would leave history, we wouldn't leave history the way one group of people will see it. We will leave history through various different um, cultures because the world has been totally explored in some form of fashion to know um, who and what types of people are all over the planet. So if we will bring or give a representation of what we are as as creatures, we will give a description of everyone's reality. So if beings from another planet or any other whatever galaxy, or if you want to call it like that, if you believe in these things, all right, they would look at us and say they have various different histories. They have various different uh modes of how they express themselves, not just one. And that's what you need to understand of what we are living in this day and time of what we call information tanun. All right. We're living in an age where history is not what we monopolized. It's not monopolized. History is not monopolized. History is not manipulated in a sense where they make you have to believe a certain thing. All right. You can create history as of the day and time we're living in. All right. So moving forward, this is the last verse. All right. From the book, I'm reading from the 141, but this is the memorandum. All right. It says this. It says we call the source or any name considered to be a verb, action, movement, and progress. This is an example of what the Messiah code is. All right, and that's what and then it took you to 14, which is a synonymous number, which equals 196, 14 times 14. 13, which is 13 times 13, which is 169, which equals 7. And then you got 961, which is 31 times 31, which is 14, 13, and 31, which are synonymous numbers with 7. All right. All right, they're synonymous numbers. In the same frequency of thought, you can scramble those numbers up. All right. So, wow, this was very interesting. Thank you for everybody that watched this video today. Everybody on the YouTube, everybody in the YouTube, everybody in the Facebook. I'd like to say thank you for attending and actually sharing your time here with me and the family. All right. Most importantly, I want you to learn something. All right. I want you to learn what we represent, what I'm sharing with y'all. I want you to learn or know what this Messiah Code movement is about. I want you to know what this the doctrine that I represent. I don't want it to be misconstrued with anything. All right. I want you to know who we are as a tribe of people. All right, which is called the Walu turtle. We're called the turtle people. Another totem for our people is the owl. The owl is our totem, and also the feline and the dolphin. The feline and the dolphin are what is considered our totems as well. The feline and the dolphin, or the feline and the fish, or whatever you consider to be that's connected to the ocean. But literally, it's the fish or the dolphin is the head creature of that. All right, and the feline, you have various different cats that connect up with with our totem as well. All right, but I would rather say the feline. All right, rather than just say a lion or a panther or such and such. Okay, but that's it. I love y'all. Thank you for the attending this broadcast. 747 24/7 361 degrees. If you want to know more about the Messiah Code, or if you want to order a book, just send an email and I'll give you information on how to donate. All right. We got to put up a new Cash App. I'm going to say that. I'm going to work on a new Cash App so the family can actually sponsor. And that's it. I love y'all. 747 24/7 361 degrees. Cool. Salutations to the primes, yo. All right. I love y'all.